Thank you for being here this evening. We'd like to call the regular City Council meeting to order on Tuesday, June 2nd. We'd like to start an invocation by Mr. Paul Ellis, who's our chaplain for the Maricopa Police Department, after which I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
On them as well. May everything that is said and done tonight be honor and glorifying to you. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Chapados. Councilmember Kimball. Here. Councilmember Manfredi. Here. Councilmember Smith. Here. Councilmember Wade. Here. Vice Mayor Brown.
Here.
Mayor Price.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience in getting started a little bit late this evening. Had a long E-session we had to go through, so again, our apologies. Thank you for your patience. That takes us to item 3 on the agenda, the proclamations, acknowledgements, and awards. We do have one proclamation at this time, so I'd come down there. Go ahead and start and read the proclamation if that's okay, and then I'll turn it over to you for just a minute or two. Well, great. We have a proclamation tonight. It's been a few months back now. Some things were brought to our attention about veterans of a ship called the USS Liberty, and although we did council to meet with these veterans and talk about the difficulties that they went through in understanding a little bit more about the USS Liberty. We're not going to go into that all tonight here, but we did want to honor them and to give them an official proclamation from the city acknowledging their service. And so, whereas it has often been said that the actions of the brave allow us to live free in this great democracy that we so treasure, today we know that no truer statement has been made. Whereas standing under freedom's banner, veterans throughout our history have answered the clarion call to duty, defending America and building this land of incompatible greatness for the generations to come. Whereas no one has given more to our nation and to the cause of freedom than the men and women of the United States military, many of whom have made the ultimate sacrifice. To veterans of the USS Liberty, all Americans recognize the sacrifice you have made in service to your country. 34 Americans died, and more than 170 were wounded. Now, chronicled in our history, it is a day that we will never forget or will ever be forgotten. On that day, the Liberty's crew responded valiantly. Forever, we will remember the service of the crew of the USS Liberty, patriots united in their mission. Patriots who embraced the cause of all who serve, a world safe for democracy. Whereas Old Glory flies high because of your strong commitment to the principles for which this great nation stands. To you and your families, the city of Maricopa and America will forever be grateful. Whereas it is also appropriate that we recognize all who today are standing at this very hour in harm's way in the front lines of defense of freedom, affording us all the opportunity to hold dear and fully enjoy our inalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, therefore, on behalf of my fellow citizens and the city of Maricopa and the city council, I, Christian Price, mayor of the city of Maricopa, am honored to officially recognize the patriotism of all who served on the USS Liberty. Thank you very much for your service.
I stand here, the souls of 34 men are on my shoulders. The survivors, all 260, are standing side by side with me. I have a medal that was given to me by one of the crew, the Order of the Purple Heart. I didn't get one, but he gave it to me, and I think it's what you would call a reason that I do what I do, because of the men who did earn it. When this thing started, it took exactly 13 days to create a special session of the city council. And it wasn't for sure until 6 days before two of the survivors came here. And our mayor, and the city council, and all their staff worked really hard to get it done. To give you an idea how much you guys felt about it, this Memorial Day, 4 of them came up here to celebrate Memorial Day and to give a memorial service here in Maricopa. And apparently it's going to continue, because next year we're going to do it again with a heck of a lot more people. I brought some pictures of it so that you can see the celebration, or the ceremonial service. And this was given to me to give to Mayor Price. It's a book written by the president of the Liberty Veterans Association. All I can say is I am humbled by the dedication of this community and the people that we put here. Thank you very much, all of you, and thank you, every one of you, for this honor.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that and appreciate their service. Council, I'm going to pass these pictures around if you'd like to see them. Again, at this time, that will take us through item 3 and on to item 4. This is an opportunity in which the report from the mayor. I wanted to give 5 minutes to Councilmember Smith, who asked for just a few moments.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to draw attention to 2 people, both of which I was hoping were going to be out in the audience. As you know, we have been talking a lot about the 1% tax cap that impacted our city significantly this year, and the budget that we had and the changes that we had to make. And I made a call to the public to talk to the governing entities that were considering tax increases that also had an impact to our city, that being CAC and Pinal County. And we had 2 residents that took me up on that, and I am so impressed with them and so touched by the fact that they went and made this call. So Leanne Clark, I see you out there. Stand up. And then Jim Jordan is the other person who took me up on that call. And these 2 people really need to be applauded, because they gave for us as residents of the city of Maricopa. They went to Jim and Leanne went to CAC to talk about how such a significant tax increase has an impact throughout Pinal County as a whole on economic development and on our community in specific. And they spoke passionately there. And then Leanne went with me to Pinal County to speak to the Board of Supervisors, and I spoke there on the impact to economic development, and Leanne spoke very passionately on our communities and the impact that it had there. And then I want you to know also, along with them, city staff also went to CAC and to Pinal County and spoke with them about the impacts as well. So they need to be applauded as well. And before we applaud them, I wanted to let you know that Paul Jepson, Councilmember Manfredi, and myself had a successful meeting today with State Legislative Senator Steve Smith to speak on the same topic, and he is very engaged and very interested in seeing what he can do about this in upcoming years too. So I want you to know that people are actively working this, things that have an impact on our community, things that have an impact on our county, and there's still chance that if you take action and call the county supervisors, you too can have an impact on their vote coming up on whether or not to raise their county property tax. So consider that, and if you need information, I have a fact sheet and everything that I can give you. But Leanne, stand up one more time. Would you guys all mind just applauding them, because she was marvelous. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilmember. So this time I just wanted to give you kind of an update of what, certainly I've been up to, as well as everybody else here. Had the opportunity to attend a GPEC mission in Washington, D.C. I think that's 3 times in 3 months for different missions back to D.C. It sounds a lot of fun until you're sitting on a plane for 5 hours, sandwiched backwards and forwards. It was a really good opportunity to be back talking about our big 3 issues again. Certainly the I-11 corridor, the 347 overpass, and the flood mitigation through the city of Maricopa. So any opportunity we can possibly, and sometimes on other people's dimes, save the taxpayers some dollars and get back in front of our elected representatives to get our messages across. It's a wonderful opportunity. So certainly did that and had a great opportunity to do so. Also had the pleasure of, as soon as I got back, I was picked up at the airport and off to Chino Valley so that we could testify at the ADOT meeting. We have $35 million on the docket, so we were in Chino Valley in northern Arizona talking about that. And so I'm hoping that as of the 19th of this month, we will see that $35 million come through for the 347 overpass, which will help complete the years and years and years of dedication to this project. And funding is obviously crucial if we want to see it built. So that is a big step, and we're hoping to see the outcome here in the next couple of weeks. Then after which, if you were here 2 weeks ago, the dais was a little light, and that's because Councilmember Smith and Wade and myself were in Las Vegas at a place called the ICSC, which is the International Conference of Shopping Centers. And so often I receive information that, people would like to see this business and that business come, and what can I say? But I agree. And I'd like to see those businesses come here as well. And so there's a lot of ways to go out and do that. And economic development is not as easy as saying, here's a piece of land, build something on it. I wish it was that easy. If it was, then there'd be a lot more businesses here already. And it's nothing could be further from the truth, but for how complex it is. In our packet, before we go, we kind of get a breakdown of things that people that we're going to meet with and things that we're trying to accomplish with each one of them. But part of it is also there are companies that reject our meeting requests, and I thought it might be interesting for you to hear some of those rejections and why we were rejected, and how even though we do receive rejections, we don't take no for an answer very well, and we keep going back to these people over and over again. So it is something that I want you to be able to talk about. So retailers, for example, Fresh Time Farmers Market, per an employee there, he says, Director of Real Estate and Market Research, quote, sorry, we do not have any plans for growth in the Southwest. Okay. PetSmart. Unfortunately, we still do not have plans to enter the Maricopa market at this time. Unfortunately, it is considered still too small. I didn't know 50,000 people was too small, but so it is in their eyes. Pet Boys, for example, auto parts service. We are not pursuing sites in Arizona at this time. We are concentrating on the southeast and the eastern seaboard. So if anyone wanted to see a Pet Boys here, that's something that the reason they're not coming at this time. Restaurants, we looked at a Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen, if you've heard of those. We require a trade area draw of 175,000 people for our business model to work. It does not appear that Maricopa meets that threshold at this time. A Chick-fil-A. My wife personally would love to see a Chick-fil-A here, as I'm sure many of you would. Right now, Maricopa is not on our plans for expansion. However, things change, so feel free to check back again next year as we approach ICSC. So, I can go on and on and on. I have a whole list of these, Island Works, Panera Bread Company, Golden Corral. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And I want you to know that our economic development side of things here in the city is always doing everything we can to meet with these folks. And one of the things I said is we don't take no for an answer. And the reason we don't is because just because they say no this year doesn't mean they won't say yes in 6 months. It doesn't mean they won't say yes in 2 years. And so we constantly approach these people. Now, that being said, I think it would be safe to say that we had a phenomenal time at ICSC. And what I mean by that, it's not that the MGM Billboard Music Awards were going on, because clearly we were not in attendance at that. But what we were in attendance at was meeting with people from 8 in the morning until about 6 at night, every 30 minutes, in their booths, walking around, meeting people at entryways. There were approximately 40,000 people at this conference center, and if you've never been, it is a phenomenal experience to meet with businesses. And so the tone has been distinctly different this year, and that tone being that people are excited, deals are being made, and I'm very excited to see what Maricopa changes, or what changes happen here in Maricopa from a business perspective over the next 12 to 24 months. We received commitments from many developers, many businesses, retail chains, small businesses, new startup ideas, et cetera, and they're all very excited about the Maricopa city and its growth and its experiment. So I think that there are some positive changes on the horizon, and I just wanted to let you know that that's what our work does there constantly, is we're always trying to push forward development in this city so that we have a better quality of life here. And then also we had the opportunity to attend a GPEC Ambassador Water event. One of the other things that's interestingly happening right now is you've all heard about the drought that's taking place. Certainly we're in a drought, we're in a desert, but we've grown accustomed to that as we live in a desert. And so the state of Arizona has made plans for that for years and years and years. Thus you see the CAP to help reduce the amount of groundwater that's taken out. One of the problems that we find is that we are oftentimes lumped into California. And so people hear about the drought and the drastic measures they're having to take because they haven't been planning like we have for years and years and years. And so we actually, through our membership at the Greater Phoenix Economic Council, we actually have a plan that goes and tries to recruit companies from California to come here. And we do this for the reason of course, our taxation is lower, but also now that they're in a severe water crisis, that's going to hurt companies that do production, that are industrial manufacturing companies. And so as those companies leave, we want to capture them here in the Phoenix area, especially in the city of Maricopa. And so anything that we can catch on that move, we want to be prepared for that. And so we're also trying to control the narrative, because clearly we don't have the same water issues that California does, because they haven't done that planning that we have for the past 50 years. 30 years, 20 years, and even yesterday and on into tomorrow. So I think that we have some very exciting things on the horizon that come from that, and that's the key idea of having long-term visions of what we're trying to accomplish here as policymakers instead of short-term ones. As was reported earlier, we had the opportunity to attend the Memorial Day flag raising at the Vet Center, American Legion Baseball. It's the second annual. We partnered with them. Also, the Youth Council had their final meeting of the year as new members come on and they take a summer break. And then finally, the Maricopa Center for Entrepreneurship was kind enough to host me speaking about business tactics and things to create in the Mi Empresa. I got to speak in Spanish for about an hour and a half, and those poor souls that had to listen to me speak in Spanish, it was not pretty, but nonetheless, I think they got the point. So anyways, I really appreciate that opportunity, and it was a good representation. And I will also be representing MCE in the city in Flagstaff at the Flynn Brown retreat here coming up here in a few weeks. So that is my report. And also, last but not least, there is a new and final version of the 2040 document. If you haven't seen it, they're probably out there on the place where you get your agendas as you walk in. Please pick one up. This is the final document, and so we want you to be able to be well-versed in what our strategic plan is moving forward. So that concludes the report from the mayor at this time, and we'll move on to the report from the city manager.
No item to report. I did want to recognize, however, Christy Reister as well as Vanessa Burris. Both are having birthdays this week, and in fact, Vanessa is working on her birthday.
Thank you very much. Move to the call to the public. I have a few speaker cards, and I know there are others in the audience that wish to speak. I will go to the speaker cards first. Please approach the podium. We have a timer here. You have approximately 3 minutes. The lights will help guide you through it. And the first one is Mr. Evan Grace from our Youth Council. Please come forward and tell us what's on your mind.
Good evening, Mayor Price, honorable members of council, and to our community members. My name is Evan Grayson. I wanted to let everyone know about a sock drive that I am running to help our Maricopa Blue Star mothers with their packages they send to deployed military members. They're in need of crew socks, especially black ones. I will have a total of 9 drop-off locations. These boxes will be out from June 7th through June 30th. You can bring your socks into Copa Craze, the Copa office, Chris K. Hall American Family Insurance Agency, Headquarters Restaurant, Copper Sky, Ultrastar, Ace Hardware, and CrossFit 347. And during the week of June 29th, there will be a box placed at the Maricopa Library. I would also like to encourage everyone to drop off letters of thanks to give to our military. Thank you to all of those who have stepped up to be a drop-off location. Thank you.
Thank you, Evan. Next up, can we have Chad Chatterton?
Which button do I hit? Which button do I hit?
Oh,
It's
you're
on.
live.
Okay,
There you
good. Marla from the Chamber and I have been doing a program, Copa Kids Who Care, and we had 2 winners that we couldn't decide between this month. And we'd like to recognize children that have 18 and under that have done something special, volunteered for animals or for pets in the area, making a difference in Maricopa. And the one winner we have tonight is Austin Pierce, who had prior engagement, but Marlene is here. Want to come on up? And here he was nominated because his accomplishments include planting, caring for, and donating vegetables from his garden to the food bank to help others, collecting blankets and other needed items for the homeless, serving and working on the Youth Council of Maricopa, and many more. Austin's last project was to collect blood samples to find matches for future bone marrow transplants. He had samples taken at Copper Sky, and 34 people responded and donated for the need. And then we have a second winner that sort of was, we couldn't choose between the 2. Evan, you are the winner. And what I've got here is a little bit about Evan, what I was told about him. Member of the Maricopa Wells National Junior Honor Society, City of Maricopa Youth Council. He's volunteered for events, running the sock drive, as he mentioned tonight, for Blue Star Mothers. And he's also asked for the minimum age limit for Youth Council to be lowered to 13 so he can join. He was Rotary Student of the Month, and he worked on Relay for Life. I was told here that he was worried about raising $100, and he actually wound up raising $1,203. And his next goal, his goal for next year is $1,500. Anything you want to add? No? He's humble, too. Mayor, would you like to take a picture? No, you don't like your picture taken. You know.
Just wanted to say Austin's really sorry he couldn't be here. You know he never misses an opportunity to be here, but he is singing and dancing his way through Oz as he's going to be featured in The Wizard of Oz in a few weeks. So that's where he is. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. And the next speaker card I have is for Mary Lou Smith. Mary Lou? There we are.
The Friends of the Library have always felt that they needed to be an active part of our community, And so we just decided that we need to make sure that we attend meetings and know what's going on in the city. We also wanted to let you know that our library manager, Eric Sarber, has just finished his annual renovation of the library. We hope you'll come in and see. He's done a lot of good things. We're very thankful to have him. He does a lot of good things for us, for our community, in our library. And he has all kinds of programs this summer going on for not only the young people, but the adults. So some of you that are interested in, you'd be surprised some of the things that he has planned for our community that are interested and appear at the library to do. So anyway, we invite you all to come and see how it looks and join in, and we're glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Lou. Appreciate it. That's all the speaker cards I have at this time, but I know there are others in the audience who may wish to speak, so please come forward and state your name and talk to us for a few minutes.
Good evening, Mayor Price and City Council members. My name is Bill Stacy. I'm the General Manager of Electrical District Number 3, and I wanted to provide a short update on what's happening at ED3. ED3 is coming up on their 90th year of service to Maricopa and the surrounding area. Also in 2015, this is the 6th year in a row that we have not had a rate increase. So while everybody else around us has been having rate increases, and I'm happy to say that our residential, small and medium commercial rates are lower than APS. If you want to get out there and look, you can compare. And our other rates are competitive to APS. But due to concern of rate impact or system reliability or safety, we have made some changes to our solar program, and I provided everybody a handout there, and there's some in the back if people want to have it. Just a quick run through. You know, we've got 793 solar systems, rooftops out there. If you look on page 2, we're at 3.45% compared to APS's 3.1 and SRP is 1.5% of customers. And we've seen a tremendous increase, almost exponentially, since the first of the year. And that's caused us some concern. Page 3 just shows different states that are working on distributed generation. Page 4, I'm kind of running through this quickly, but typical residential solar customer, monthly energy, as you can see, an average customer in blue is about 1,500 kilowatt hours a month, but a solar customer is 491. Our rates are typically tied to most of our fixed costs in energy, and that causes a problem. At the same time, demand on our system, non-solar is 8.9 kW, where our solar is 8.5. So they're still impacting our system and using a lot of our system. Page 5 just shows fixed and variable costs on our system. Important thing on page 6, you can see that approximately $730 unrecovered fixed cost is being affected by solar customers. If you've got 793 customers, that's $579,000 that impacts our rates. And we don't want that to continue as we go forth, so we've kind of come up with a plan to somewhat capture some of those costs on future customers. Everybody currently who has a solar system won't be affected by this. It's in July 1st. Page 7 just kind of goes through net metering. I won't walk. Page 8 is net metering, different types that we have around the state. Page 9 just provides APS, SRP, Tucson Electric, and a couple of co-ops and what they're doing on solar. Let me just jump to the back page. A couple of things we're making policy changes. Compensation for the excess generation, we're changing that. Increased fixed cost recovery charge from 70 cents to $3. And I guess we're going to, for the time being, limit it to 30 solar systems added each month. So I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any, or give me a phone call. I'll be happy to walk through any of this information.
Thank you very much. And Bill, please
Yes,
come
sir.
back at the next meeting as well and talk again about this.
Okay.
You know, maybe fill in some gaps and such. That would
All
be
right.
great. Thank you very much.
All
We
right.
appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Misty. I just wanted to take a moment to thank the City Council for bringing in Maricopa Center for Entrepreneurship. Dan and Sarah have been great to work with and very helpful in helping me plan my business. So I think overall, MCE is a great asset for this community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Misty. Appreciate it. Anyone else wish to address the City Council at this time? Okay, seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close the call to the public and move on to the minutes. Item 7, can I have a motion to approve minutes items 7.1 and 7.2, please? Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We have no public hearings at this time, and so that'll take us to the consent agenda. Just have one item on the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve consent, please?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve consent. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And that'll take us to item 10.1 on the regular agenda. And this is former Mayor, Supervisor Smith, former Mayor Anthony Smith, who is now Supervisor Smith at the Board of Supervisors in Pinal County. So we welcome you back and thank you very much for being here. Supervisor Smith graciously agreed to give us an update about what is taking place in Pinal County and many of our surrounding areas around Maricopa. And so we felt that would be very helpful to everyone to know. And so we turn the time over to you, sir, Supervisor.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. It's indeed a pleasure for me to come before you today to talk about some of the things that are happening in the Maricopa areas that may be of interest to the council and to the residents in the audience and at home. We have the areas that I'm going to be speaking tonight on are economic development. That's of interest to everybody. There's a new project that's going to kick off later this week, the Maricopa-Casa Grande Highway. It's an all-weather crossing. It's been one that's been on a high priority of our list, and it's an important transportation link between the city of Maricopa and Casa Grande. There's a new regional park that I'm very excited to talk about, and we just over this weekend were able to have a little deeper dive and look-see at the new regional park as it begins to develop, and recognize Gina Diabella in the audience for leading that tour. Relocation of the Cowtown Monitor. Air quality is very important, not only to Pinal County, but especially here with the Cowtown Monitor, and we've been going through the steps of making those changes. The waste recycle transfer station and Pinal County's involvement in that, and then flood mitigation and what we're doing on the long-term perspective in regards to that. And I've got some little miscellaneous items to talk about also. Getting back to economic development, we've tried our best to expand our influence in winning projects. It is, I believe, truly a good news story for Pinal County. We're leading the state, Pinal County is, in business growth. At over the 15 counties, Pinal County is number 1 at 2.6% per year. Our business development pipeline has between $16 and $18 billion worth of new capital investments that are going to happen in Pinal County in the next 5 to 7 years. This is billion, not million, but that is a huge number. And if we'll see a lot of those come to fruition, and they're starting to happen, and as we move forward. For those who watch other economic indicators, the unemployment rate has been almost cut in half from 11.5 at the height of the recession down to about 6% in May. So that is a lot of very good progress that we're making on the unemployment rate. And then, of course, what is very important to the city of Maricopa and any other growth communities, of which Pinal County also led the way in the last decade as far as home building. And so medium home prices continues to outpace the national average for medium-sized counties. But moving up to the slide, recently within our preliminary budget, Pinal County made commitments to a membership in Sun Corridor. This is formerly TRIO, which is known as the Tucson Regional Economic Opportunities Organization. I'm on the board for this new organization. Sun Corridor has desires to combine the efforts of southern Arizona, Pinal County, Pima County, Cochise County, and Santa Cruz County, becoming a very important economic development power. We continued our association with Access Arizona, and we also joined the Arizona-Mexico Commission. Being an economic powerhouse, which is what we hope to be someday for Arizona, our linkage to the Arizona-Mexico Commission was key as far as our looking for economic development south of the border with our very, very important trading partner. But I want to talk to you about some of the projects that are happening in the Casa Grande area and also in the Maricopa area. Casa Grande's really, in most of these areas where these jobs are being built, is really 30, 20 minutes away. Rather than going to Ahwatukee, Chandler, Tempe, some of these other locations, there's going to be a great opportunity to go and work locally or within Pinal County, keep our tax dollars local. Tractor Supply Company has been pretty much known more in the Midwest and east of the Mississippi, but they are investing $100 million in a project that in my driving by it, it's actually getting built faster than Chipotle here locally. This is an enormous building for a distribution center for their West Coast operations. In addition, they're opening 2 retail outlets, I believe one in Coolidge and one in Casa Grande. Waste Empowered Incorporated is the green energy project that has bought property and is investing right across the road from the Tractor Supply Company. This is $25 million and 80 jobs. Phoenix Mart, everybody has been interested in the progress of the Phoenix Mart. It is still continuing to go, but again, look at the investment, $1.2 billion with around 9,000 jobs. There's a Project 78, which is in the Coolidge area, actually, somewhat at the Casa Grande area, but it will make a huge difference in our ability to move goods and logistics projects as we connect rail and surface transportation. It is a $1.2 billion project with 750 jobs. Then finally, in the Casa Grande area is a fly ash block manufacturer, 14 million with 50 to 75 jobs. As you see from this list, we're getting a lot of manufacturing interest, and we're being very attractive to those who are wanting to move from other operations, whether they're in some of the other states or California, into this area. In the Maricopa area, it's somewhat right now about entertainment and recreation. Just south of the city of Maricopa, near 347 and Highway 84, about a 20-minute drive from here, is a new motocross track that is being planned in the Hidden Valley area. This is being developed by a professional motocross individual, and he's hoping to have a grand opening in the fall. In addition to motocross, I believe he has a little small BMX track, so in order for those who like that type of entertainment, there's going to be a great opportunity. It's a course that is professionally designed and will give a lot of good options for those who like to participate or be a spectator in those type of sports. Racing seems to be very important in this area, again, because of their climate. There is a racetrack, a 3.5-mile road course. The operators have purchased the property and are planning that near I-8 and Bianca Road. This is kind of in between the Casa Grande and the Maricopa area, but it is another project that, again, adds to the quality of life and the interest of what we think people in this area enjoy their outdoor sports. I mentioned the Maricopa Casa Grande Highway project. We've had, through the years, this has been the Santa Cruz wash that has been kind of a thorn in everybody's side when you get rains in the Tucson area, and For a week after that, then there's water that's going across the road, and the county closes the road because we don't want hydroplaning, and we err on the side of public safety. We're building an all-weather crossing at that location. We're going to raise the road surface. As you know, when you drive from Maricopa to the Casa Grande, you go down into the dip, into the wash, and then you come back up. We're going to raise the road surface, and we're installing a box culvert bridge. The roadway will be open about 24/7, except during the installation of the temporary drainage structures. This is a bypass that's going to be constructed. The construction will start tomorrow, and we hope to have this project completed by October the 1st. If you are in that area and traveling on June the 3rd or for a few weeks after that time period, you'll see a typical detour that you will be set up, and you won't be able to cross Maricopa Casa Grande Highway at the road closure location. You'll have to go up White and Parker over the Honeycutt and then on over to Murphy Road and down. That is somewhat the typical detour that when we've had water cross that location, if you've had to take that detour, it's the same detour. But this is the detour in order to install the temporary drainage structures on the bypass road. Now this is the drawing, the engineer's drawing of what the bypass road looks like. That's going to be open 24/7. It'll be 2 lanes, but the bypass is actually going to be constructed between the current roadbed and the railroad track. So that will be open and during the construction, and again up until October 1st, when you'll be able to use this road. One of the important things that I made mention earlier in my presentation regarding the Western Pinal County Regional Park. This was sponsored by the Open Space and Trails Plan and Pinal Partnership. Again, over the weekend on Saturday morning, we had a group of about 20-25 people that were led by Gina Diabella through various locations within the regional park. Just to give you an idea of the scale and this asset that we have very close to the city of Maricopa, this will be created in a similar context to the South Mountain Park. In fact, it's almost a third larger than the South Mountain Regional Park. And to give you an idea, Copper Sky is 145 acres. Well, we're not recreating a Copper Sky, but this is a large regional park. What it's going to be in that park? Well, you're going to have hiking trails. You're going to have off-highway vehicle trails. You're going to have shooting opportunities. And of course, equestrian, which is very important to areas in this location. This is gives you an idea of what the Western Regional Park looks like. This is park number 4. It's also called Palo Verde. But if you see the location of the Ak-Chin Indian community in the yellow shading, kind of yellow-green shading, south of Highway 238 is the northern section of the park. And then on the next slide, you see the southern section of the park. And it goes all the way down to Highway 84. A lot of this land is in BLM land, so back in the fall, we made application to create this park. And then just what we're going to do at the Board of Supervisors meeting, hopefully if it's approved, I imagine it would be, is that we're going to award a contract to create a master plan. The master plan is the thing that we need a lot of public input from Maricopa and other areas in order to help us understand what's going to be a part of that park. Following the same model that we created a wonderful Copper Sky Park. It was a matter of taking the time to get stakeholder input and getting your input regarding what type of facilities and how we're able to combine shooting with equestrian, with hiking, all those types of recreation, but also in a fixed location. It's a very exciting location. Air quality is very important. The city of Maricopa, and we've been working, actually I started working when I was mayor in a relocation of the Cowtown Monitor. The county was notified back in fall of 2013 that the Cowtown Monitor lease will be terminated and that the lease will be extended to January 2016 in order to give us a little bit more time in order to make the transition. We've been completing the data collection. We'll complete that in June the 15th of 2015, but we've had two locations, one on Maricopa property that's just south of Maricopa Casa Grande Highway by White Parker. Then the second location is a temporary location near the Hidden Valley Maintenance Facility between that and the feedlot. So those, as I mentioned, these data collection and field studies are going to conclude June the 15th, and with the evaluation and recommendation to the EPA in late summer. We're hoping to complete this relocation by the time of December 31st in 2015. Next, I want to talk about Maricopa's waste and transfer station. The Pinal County has been filling the gap until right-of-way disposal is in place. The county owns the property, and we've actually from that time it was taken over until now, it's been the county has been providing free services. We provided trash and recycling, tire collection disposal, and we spent about $60,000 or more for the interim service. City Council has approved the IGA with Pinal County in order to use the property, and later this month we'll have it on the Board of Supervisors' agenda for our approval. And we anticipate that turnover of operations, and we're continuing to support that by the end of June. Flood mitigation on the Santa Cruz River has been an important long-term project. There's the stakeholder group that Maricopa and a lot of you are involved in, and I'm also the treasurer of that alliance, Lower Santa Cruz River Alliance. Just a quick update, the Corps of Engineers are in the midst of their feasibility study. They're starting the study this summer after the project management plan is completed. It'll take 3 years to complete it at a cost of $3 million. They have enough seed money to get started. The next $700,000 is being worked in the current budget of the federal government, and we hope to, now that is a new start project, it'll continue to get funding and work with the Corps of Engineers as we continue to make this and hopefully have permanent solutions for the chronic flooding situation that impacts not only Tucson, Marana, Casa Grande, Arizona City, but also the city of Maricopa, the Tohono O'odham Nation, Ak-Chin, and the Gila River. We're all partners in this alliance, and this is a project that will help stabilize and protect those areas from further loss. Some of the miscellaneous activities and opportunities for collaboration we've had, the Pinal County has approved the resolution supporting the 347 grade separation in your Tiger Grant application. Continue to want to be partners on any of these infrastructure projects you bring forward. We're actively involved, as you know, Mr. Mayor, on Interstate 11 and working with you on the East-West Corridor road projects, just to also improve the aesthetics in the Heritage District. Recently, the Pinal County had an action to remove an abandoned trailer. We're preparing that ground in order to sell to the Maricopa Domestic Water Company, and that would be their location for their permanent offices. They may still have an arrangement with you on lease, and so that would be give them a permanent location. And then also, I and Marlene, oh, there's Marlene, she's still in the audience. We coordinate with ADOT, the Tucson operation, the 347 trash pickup. As I was frustrated during my time of mayor of the calls I would get regarding the median in the trash in the median, I made this a point as a county supervisor, even though that's not in my district, that's in Steve Miller the other district, but it's important to be a community partner. And so we've stepped up, and either Marlene or I call the Tucson office about every 3 months and coordinate the trash pickup in the median. Then finally, future collaboration. There's an opportunity, as we know, to relocate the Zephyr train car. For those that in Maricopa that may not know, the county pays lease to Union Pacific Railroad for that car to sit on there. That Zephyr train car is owned by Pinal County, and it sits on leased land, and we pay tax dollars every year in order for it to remain there. When the Great Separation Project happens, or the Amtrak station is relocated, hopefully the Zephyr will be relocated, and it will continue to be an important part of what Maricopa was in its history. And then finally, at some point, there will be a District 4 County Supervisor County Office Complex built. Right now, we're in leased location next to the library in one of the buildings, and it's important, I believe, that the county services that you have to drive to Florence or you have to drive to Casa Grande are provided locally. As we continue to grow, we're going to need to have those services more locally. So those are the type of activities that we're involved in future collaboration, and hopefully we'll see more happen in that area. If you need to reach me, and none of you on the city council or the mayor has any problem reaching me, and of course the lady on the end doesn't have any problem reaching me, but there's my phone number, and again, I point out Marlene Pierce, who's the assistant to the Board of Supervisor in my office. We have a field office in the city of Maricopa, and she does a great job as far as handling the calls, troubleshooting, handling service opportunities, and that's my presentation. I'm willing to take any questions if you have that time available.
Council, questions? This time, Supervisor Smith. Yes, Vice Mayor.
Supervisor Smith, can you tell us the progress of the situation in Casa Grande as far as that Chinese development? Where are they on that?
They're still going through the legal process as far as the I can't remember the classification of it, but the job classifications and getting those through the Homeland Security, I believe, is where they're at. You'll see on the Casa Grande City Council agenda from time to time various additional movement regarding whether or not they're approving the infrastructure, sewer connection that would be going across I-10 and making that connection, or site plan development, approving the site plans. So there's kind of working two ends on that regards. I don't know exactly what they're looking as far as a completion date, but to my understanding, and Mayor Jackson at Casa Grande, this project continues to move along, not nearly at the pace that they had hoped, but it is an important project, and I believe they're working through, again, those type of details.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Supervisor Smith. Yes.
I'm sorry. Never mind.
Councilman Wade.
Good evening, Supervisor Smith. I have a question, just kind of a curious question about the Red Rock Railway Station. I haven't heard much about that in quite some time. Is that something that is kind of still on the radar, or has gone by the wayside?
No, it's still one of the very, very important high priority projects for Pinal County and for the southern Arizona. We had hoped that we would see some quicker action now that a appointment from the governor is made for the land commissioner. Lisa Atkins has taken that position, but I am hoping that that continues to move forward. We still have a lot of interest, and we do want that project to happen, but it is still an active project.
Thank you. Any idea number of jobs cost of that project?
I believe it was in the 300. It was a pretty high-tech classification yard, but it would still require 300 jobs. But also the indirect jobs that would be associated with a project like that. You have those which are Union Pacific Railroad jobs at the classification yard, but you have a lot of interest from various land developers in the area around it. So that is continues to be an important project. Then I mentioned Project 78, which is a little bit different type of project. It is in the Coolidge area, but they're both logistics projects. And it kind of, with our situation, our location between Tucson and Phoenix, we have a great location, and we have three, with the addition of Interstate 11, we'd have 3 interstates. So we do have with that type of growth, we have a great opportunity to be a very significant hub and mover of goods and equipment.
And just to thank you and the rest of the board members as well for supporting the Tiger Grant and that application. Really appreciate that. That
You're
goes a long
welcome.
way for
You're
us.
welcome. It's all about collaboration.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions? Supervisor Smith. Thank you very much. We appreciate the update, and come back
You're
again.
welcome. Thank
We
you very
appreciate
much.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Feel free to clap or not clap. It's up to you. Yeah, that's right. We don't want it to be awkward or anything. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Supervisor. We really appreciate the update. That'll take us to item 10.2. We're going to hear a presentation from the Maricopa Center for Entrepreneurship. This is for discussion only. And let's see, we have Annette, Dan, and Sarah. Come on up.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you some of the exciting things that are happening at the Maricopa Center for Entrepreneurship. One of the questions that seems to come up is why do we need entrepreneurs in Maricopa? And I think the answer is pretty easy, pretty simple. It's jobs. Different studies from different sides of the political spectrum all come to the same conclusion, that it's the small new firms that create jobs in our economy. One of the surveys states that during the downturn in the economy, in this recent recession that we've had, the net employment growth has come from the small firms that are new and small, less than 20 employees, less than 5 years old, whereas the larger, older companies are the ones that have been shedding jobs. What does it take for a community like Maricopa to foster and grow entrepreneurs? One, encourage them. Have a long-term commitment, like the city does, to building a startup entrepreneur community. To have a philosophy of inclusiveness, having welcome and encourage entrepreneurs to come to the city and to work in the city, and to engage the entire community. I think those are all the kinds of things that the City Council has promoted, and the kinds of things that we are creating at MCE. Our mission from the city is to create and increase successful, innovative small businesses. And we are doing that by saying yes. We say yes to companies that are starting out, that aren't existing yet. We say yes to companies that are existing but are still being in that incubation stage. We say yes to companies that are in existence but need some acceleration, need some growth in their companies. We say yes to companies who need to a place to work temporarily and don't have an office in the city yet. And then we say yes to all our other clients who are looking for a variety of assistance. We say yes to all of them. We say yes to training. Every month we do approximately 8 different types of training. We have a very vibrant art and entrepreneurship program. We're very fortunate to have hosted Maricopa artists over the last 8 months, ranging in age from 14 to 75 plus. And I would encourage all of you, if you have a time tomorrow night, starting at 6 o'clock, it's our opening for our latest gallery. It's not a large presentation, there are only 8 paintings, but they are very large paintings. The mayor can attest to that. One of them is a reclining woman, and she's about 6 foot tall. So it's pretty amazing to see her. We're very fortunate to be able to have trainings for women and minorities. And as the mayor spoke to our Hispanic group last week, thank you, sir. You did good, actually. I got compliments on his Spanish, so he's being a little modest. We have a book club that focuses on getting people to read business books and learn from them. Our Tech Chef program is for technology for those people who are tech specialists and people who want to be. We've had some very successful classes that start from zero and help people learn how to write code. Our Pro Series is a longer, almost a college period. It's about a 2-hour session, some intense training on subtopics as marketing and business development, business plan development. Lunch and Learn and Business and Brews is a little shorter. We do those both in the same day, and we've had them on a variety of subjects, social media, social marketing. Recently I did one on just how to fill out paperwork to become a business. We say yes to events. We're very proud to sponsor with the Maricopa Chamber of Commerce, the Business to Business Expo, approximately 85 to 100 different companies represented at the expo. We're excited to be a part of the first and only pop-up art gallery in the city of Maricopa. Over 200 people visited the art gallery during that weekend, so it was a very spectacular event for us. And we had a standing room only crowd in our training session. We invited a gallery owner from Tempe to come down and talk to the artists and artisans in town and explain to them what it takes to get their art represented in a gallery, and it was very well attended. We're happy to be a part of Shark Tank with the Maricopa High School. Mayor and Miss Maricopa were a part of that, and we enjoyed that. We were also part of the committee, along with the City of Maricopa and the STEAM Foundation, in presenting the first annual Maricopa Science City in conjunction with the Salsa Festival. We handed out over 4,000 passports to Science City and had multiple hundreds come back where people had actually gone to 6 or more of the booths and got them their passports stamped. That was a very excellent event, especially for the inaugural year, and we will continue to be a part of that. We say yes to counseling, coaching, consulting. These actually hours are old. We're over 200 hours now. We have done one-on-one personalized counseling and coaching, advising with business owners and businesses in helping them to develop their marketing plans, their sales presentations, really whatever they need. Our answer is yes. Whatever their question is, whatever they need help on, we're there to help them get to the next level of their business. And we say yes to money, which is always a very good thing for entrepreneurs. We're very pleased to be a part of the City of Maricopa USDA Revolving Loan Fund, and we're going to make a presentation later on that. We're a part of NACET, and I'm going to ask Annette, who is our CEO, to come talk about NACET.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's good to see you all again. So for all of the work that Dan and Sarah are doing, I want you to know that they are well supported as well. So NACET is the Northern Arizona Center for Entrepreneurship and Technology, and we're a service provider in operating MCE. And NACET is an entrepreneurial support organization run by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. And our mission is to help entrepreneurs start companies that can grow and create jobs. And so you know Dan and Sarah very well here and the work that they're doing here. And they are part of a 10-person team in NACET overall. And there's a lot of cross-pollination and collaboration between the members of that team. So we've had one of our other people come down here. She runs the incubator in Flagstaff, actually. Trish Rensink has been down here a couple of times to do presentations in Maricopa and to work with clients. And the interaction is, it's very unique because what we have is a set of people who all have very different skills, and it's in that kind of collection of talents that you have this fantastic broad pool of experience and expertise dedicated to working with the startups that are growing, especially here. So I wanted to introduce you to a handful of these people. You've met me, at least most of you have met me so far. Trish has been down here a couple of times. Paul Thomas is a serial CEO who's raised venture funds for probably 5 companies and taken 2 of them public. Anne Marie has been in the nonprofit world for a long time and helps clients with grants and responses to RFPs and
proposal creation, and she's working with a handful of clients and with each of our centers as well. And then Jennifer is a professional event planner. Every single person on this list is a business owner. And I think it really speaks to the talent and the depth of talent that we have in the whole organization. So I want to talk a little bit about Dan, because Dan never wants to talk about himself. So I want to brag a little bit about how great Dan is and how dedicated he is to the entrepreneurs in this community. Dan himself is a serial entrepreneur. He is obsessive about bringing value to the clients that he works with, and they rave about working with him. He did receive his incubator manager certification, and lest I say entirely too much, you know, if you've been in Dan's office, you see yes on the wall. This is no accident that it's all over his presentation. He is the most positive, forward-looking person that I've ever met, and he really sets the tone and the expectation that people can really achieve amazing things. And I don't know how much you know about Sarah Troyer. I know you know her very well, but do you know that this amazing woman is, so I'm going to tell on you. She's 20 years old. She's already a business owner. She runs the marketing and administration for MCE. She teaches the technology classes at MCE, and she also helps a lot of the clients build their own websites. If I could have achieved an 18th of that by the time I was her age, I would take over the world. So I really think that you have an amazing team here in Maricopa. They're very proud of what they do. They're thrilled to work with entrepreneurs, and I couldn't say anything better about them. I think they're phenomenal, and so thank you for your support that you've given them as well. So, Dan, you want to talk a little bit more?
So what do we offer in services? Quickly, a lot of help with business basics. A lot of entrepreneurs come with great ideas and need the help with the business basics. We help them network with other entrepreneurs. We give them office or marketing assistance. We help them build websites. We work with them on their social media platforms. We do have both kinds of high-speed internet, so people can come and use our offices to work. A lot of accounting and management help. Access to bank loans, guaranteed programs, loan funds, help with presentation skills. I'll do a lot of one-on-one training with people who, I'm going to meet with this client, help me to know what to say. We give them links to strategic partners, access to angel investors and venture capitalists, a lot of business training programs. We link them to advisory boards and mentors. We work with helping them find management teams. A lot of help with regulatory compliances. Small businesses have a hard time with paperwork. Filling out city license forms. I got a call this morning from a lady who basically was ready to fill out her city application and went, but my LLC is not quite right. So we walked through that with her, and I think she submitted the LLC, so the city paperwork should be coming along soon. A lot of intellectual property management connections. We help people with their IP. And I think one thing that's very important, because of our connection with NASET, our direct connection with them, and our connection with the other incubators around the state, we literally are able to give any of our clients, any business owner that needs our help, access to pretty much any possible facility or service that they would need. Are there any questions?
Council, questions? Yes, Councilmember Smith.
Hi, ma'am.
I have probably 4 or 5 different friends who are clients of yours, and they speak as highly as she did of your gifts that you give to the city of Maricopa. So I want to thank you for that. I've been to the Shark Tank, absolutely fabulous, creates lots of energy. Been to your art galleries, again, brings about a different aspect of something to offer our residents here in terms of art and the art cultures, and absolutely love it. If you've never been to one of these art galleries, you need to go. Go to Shark Tank too. It's absolutely fun and fabulous. My question to you is, do you hear anything very often about what we're lacking in the entrepreneurship environment here in Maricopa?
I would say the number one thing that I hear is something that you guys are already addressing, and that's space. I think
Good,
that
yeah.
the Strategian project is going to be very important. I think there are a lot of entrepreneurs that are basically waiting for those doors to be open. They aren't as long-term thinkers, I think, as a lot of existing businesses are. They tend to be dealing with the right now. I don't see them signing up now for the Astoria Gin project, but once it's ready, once it's open, I think there'll be a lot of entrepreneurs headed that direction.
Very good. Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Well, thank you very much. I can't tell you how important MCE is to the city of Maricopa. Again, so many people don't understand what it is and what it does. We appreciate the presentation, and it's important for council to come back here, but at the end of the day, it's important that the audience understand that all the cities that are actually making entrepreneurs advance at a much faster rate than if you're trying to compare apples to apples here. Those cities that have them versus those that don't, and it is very noticeable. And so, again, helping our businesses go to the next level in whatever form, even if they're successful already. I remember, I believe it was Dan, you told me, sometimes we have to help them and tell them when to get out of their own way, and that's a problem when it's your baby. And so I think that anytime we can support entrepreneurs, you just never know when the next Google comes out of the city of Maricopa, and we are always looking forward to that. So thank you very much.
We'd like to take a minute and do a presentation. We have our first loan recipient tonight.
Wonderful.
And we'd like you to join us in a picture in the presentation.
Council, come on down here.
Our first loan recipient is Todd Clark from Hobbyscopes. And Todd and his company are building a prototype electronic microscope for the coin and stamp hobbyists.
Thank you again. The discussion that was just being done here in the front here, it was said that this is like strapping rockets on the business, is that it helps it move forward so much faster. And the reality is that's what creates jobs. And so again, the purpose that we try and do as a government is to get out of the way as much as we can, and yet regulate public safety and the things that we can do. But anytime we can help facilitate small businesses reaching their maximum potential, I think that's our biggest and best goal that we can accomplish here as a city government. So again, congratulations. Thank you for all your work. Congratulations as a company. We're excited to see you go forward, and we can't wait for you to be a big success and stay in Maricopa. Thank you again. That takes us to the final item on the agenda tonight, item 10.3. We're going to hear a presentation, I apologize, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Maricopa, Arizona, supporting the Transportation Investment Generating Economic Recovery, or TIGER, 7 discretionary grant requests for State Route 347, the Union Pacific Grade Separation Projects. And this is being submitted this year by the ADOT, Arizona Department of Transportation, and that's a big deal. So, Paul, take it away.
Yeah. Mayor, members of council, we're doing things a little bit differently this year. This is our 7th application for TIGER funds. Again, TIGER stands for Transportation Investment Generating Economic Recovery Discretionary Grant Program, or as we call in the business, TIGER 7. Normally we submit this, and so your vote to allow us to apply is your formal council recognition of the application. Because we were highly recommended last year. We've gotten very close. We have our EA done. We have partial funding for full funding for design and right-of-way acquisition. ADOT has offered and taken on to do the submission. So since we're not primary submitters, we need to vocalize, council needs to vocalize their formal support as well as our other partners, and so that's why we have this resolution. So this resolution will join the other resolutions we have, which include our previous letters from the Ak-Chin. We have our full House delegation letter updated. We have just got in, hot off the press, a Union Pacific letter. Last week, MUSD passed a resolution. I hope to pick up a letter from Senator Smith tomorrow. MAG and the Regional Council voted to support this project. That's big. Pinell County, as Supervisor Smith has said, graciously supported this with a resolution. Never before, the first time this year, the Governor Ducey, wrote a letter himself, and we have that in our files. And then we will add that with our resolution. And so this will be, regional support is huge in this Tiger application. It's very competitive. So having this wide array of stakeholders going officially support, offering their letters and resolutions really bolsters our chances.
Thank you, Paul. Any questions on this? I wouldn't imagine there are. If not, I will move this one. Can I have a second support, please? Everybody seconds it. Great. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And that concludes our evening meeting. Thank you very much for sticking around with us. I need a motion to move back to E-session, please. Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you again. We'll adjourn for 2 weeks.